Yeah, yeah.
So,
All right, here we go. So we're recording. Our screen is shared. All right. Pretty sure. See if it works or not.
Just
all
way
right.
down there.
So,
Who's this guy?
make sure it's all right. Should be great. All right. So today, you asked me about leads and how I get my listings.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on this listing for about 2 years now.
Really?
So you're like, how are you getting them so quick? Well, it's because I've been working on them for a while.
Gotcha.
Not all of them, but some of them, such as this one, a while, because the mom had passed away and the lot was there, and it's going between the sisters and the brothers. And finally, they gave me a call today. So let me show you what I was doing in the meantime to get the listing.
Originally, when he first contacted him too, though, the lot was only worth like 30 grand. And since it's been 2 years down the road, they're listing it for about 85.
Yeah.
It's the lot right next to his parents' other house here. And originally they wanted to buy that lot. And that's the original reason why he contacted it. But then they're going to sell that house. So
2018.
Yeah.
I started on this one.
Wow.
So, 3 years.
So
gotcha. So it's just staying.
Boom, stayed in touch. My mom, put me in touch with them. They needed compliance on getting their lot cut. So you were asking, hey, how do you get them so quick? Well, they're not all so quick.
Understood. Gotcha.
So then I sent them, this was 6 days ago. Finally, the sister reached out to me asking, all right, what do we need to get going? And she started asking me questions throughout the phone call about, well, why are you a good agent? Why should we choose you? So I told her, and I said, well, I'll give you a link to my reviews as well. And this is what I was saying to Wade. Just because you guys are new agents doesn't mean that you don't have backing. Use Keller Williams numbers. We're the largest broker on Treasure Coast. We have the highest volume, highest sales. We have 5 market centers, 200 agents in our office. So use those numbers. If they ask you for numbers, well, we're the largest broker. We sell the most real estate. So I was telling Wade, until you get your own sales record, use Keller Williams.
Yeah, and then just let them know what you offered too. Like, I'm not taking cell phone photos. We are getting, we do our own photography, but that's because I had experience in photography prior.
Right.
There's companies that you can hire for $100 to $150, depending on, the size of the house, or if it's in an HOA needs pictures of the amenities too. Because one thing is you cannot take photos from another listing or photos from the website of the amenities, because that's somebody else's paid photos. They could sue you. So what I was telling Jamie yesterday, like if you have a listing in Town Park, that first listing, you're going to want to get pictures of the clubhouse, the amenities, this and that, but then save those photos in a file. So if you ever get another listing in Town Park, you already have at least the amenities done.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, for sure.
So that's, you let them know, like, this is what I offer as my marketing package. Maybe you do paid Facebook ads, maybe you do an open house, maybe you do professional photography, like, or drone, depending on the property. Like he's got a 40-acre property. It needs drone footage, because to show that kind of a property, you can't just walk around and take cell phones. Yeah.
Everything looked the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
So when I was in this phone conversation again with her, she's like, why should we pick you? I told her everything. And I also included these documents. I included my my reviews. That was that. So I included like an opener letter,
Yeah.
I do this to my sellers. I have one for sellers and I have one for buyers. I'm honored to represent you in your future listing. I'm a multi-million-dollar producer in the company and have numerous positive reviews from satisfied clients, blah, blah, blah. Signed it. That's my initial thing.
And for something like that kind of layout, I know you designed that, but
Mhm.
I want to one day, hopefully, maybe I could learn off you how to do that kind of stuff too, because I wanted to have like a nice looking.
So command
So you can do
actually
command.
does that.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
can use
and it does a
Word.
drag and drop, and you just fill it
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
So it's-
Command has a bunch of designs. So once you start pulling up command,
Yeah.
you can learn the designs of it.
Cool.
Second, I included the net sheet. Jamie, have you ever seen one of these?
Just real estate course.
Okay. So I'll send you a copy of that. This is on our Keller Williams intranet page, which I have you right here on this link. That will lead you to this page. Okay, so this is our intranet. Here, if you click on this market center, this is everything that kind of goes on in our market center. So Wade, the lead that he got from RedX, it was emailed to us, plus they're also on here. So they're RedX leads. You know, he
That was this one.
he clicked on it. He clicked on it. This is a for sale by owner. Should be do not call. So DNC. So they already tell you if it's do not call or not. So you can knock on the door maybe, you know. So that's one lead, another lead, and it doesn't matter even if it's in another city. So this is Sebastian. You can still, like I was telling Wade, you can still call them to get the listing. And if you don't want to list it, we can already get you hooked up with an agent up there that will take the listing and give them a referral for 30%. And boom,
So
you just made $3,000 for making a couple calls.
I'm trying to do that in Miami right now. My father-in-law's girlfriend, well, they're divorced. His girlfriend's looking for a place in Miami, but with my full-time job at the moment, I can't.
Yeah,
Dude, you can just stack up referrals. Maybe.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we were showing her last week. Is if you go on Property Appraiser, you can see where people are moving from in the last year.
I'll go through all that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep this all recorded so I can send it to
Gotcha.
Gina.
Okay.
So on here, you can click on Market Center and then Documents, and you'll have a lot of documents here. Yes, there may be some outdated, but the one that's always updated is the seller net sheet, and that's where you can put this together for your clients. All right, and we'll send that to you, but that's where you can find it. Okay, so going back to here, next thing I just included with these people in particular was a copy of the property appraiser card, and we'll get into that. I have this just telling them about me because we don't have a good relationship yet. So just a little bit about me, some reviews from Zillow, I copied and pasted in there, some sales from the last year. I just included that with that. And then I included this. This is one of my last sales in Newport with, a record. So I figured that would be good to include it in as well. So that's what I
awesome.
sent over to them. And let's see here. So she called me today. Actually, I followed up with her yesterday at 9 o'clock. Hey, just make sure you received everything okay. Hope you had a great weekend. She called me today. Yep, we want to use you. Boom. All right. So now we're going to list it. All right. So go into the listing paperwork. Once you guys go into command, you started off by adding a contact. All right. And we'll get into that, but I wanted to really show you the process of the actual listing. So once you learn command, you'll be able to pull up the listing agreement and all the forms. So what I like to add is the net sheet. Again, there's the copy of that. And I'll go through that with you now. So that's a spreadsheet. Again, you can download it from the Keller Insider page. And here is that spreadsheet. It's very easy. You can do it in about 1 minute after you learn how to do it. So it's basically putting the client's name in, right? Putting their address in. It automatically populates today's date, and it estimates that it will close in 60 days to prorate the taxes and things like that. You can put in a couple different prices. So you got, let's say $350, you've got $330, and 310. So now you can see where it populates down here, the estimated net with a 350, 330, and a 310 purchase price. Okay. So taxes, you want to put your taxes in there. And if you do not know them, now is where we'll go to property appraiser. All right. So Jamie, I will put this in the bookmarks for you if you don't know. So property appraiser is paslc.org. Property appraiser. All right. So this is one of our most used resources. You can search for properties. You can go, on the map and just scroll around. This is what Caitlin was talking about earlier. So you can see where homeowners have moved from, and we can get in this another day, but you can use this for leads and try to make relationships with referral agents in these states, such as Pennsylvania,
New York, New Jersey.
New York is a big one, Rhode Island. So it's a pretty cool resource that property appraisers added on. You can see where families are moving from. California, 70.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people getting out of California.
Yeah.
Colorado, I've gotten a few moving from there. So pretty cool little resource. But to look up data for each property, just click on this first box. Now you can search by address, owner, parcel, subdivision. So for this one that I'm working on.
So if you only know like their name, you can type in their name and it'll show what they've purchased and what they own right now.
So 2465
Nice.
Independence.
Yeah, that's what I told Jamie. I was like,
2465.
she's working on a listing, so I
All
didn't
right.
know if she knew it.
So
I was
that
like,
pulled
well,
it
you
up.
know their name. Like, let's just
Yeah,
type that in and see what
So
they.
parcel number, owner name.
And you can see
address.
what they paid for it.
If you click on record card, that'll start bringing up everything you need. So from here, you can click on this. Here's, you can see if it was a house, you'd see their exemptions. You see the acreage. You see what it's zoned for. You see the parcel number. I like to just automatically click on summary, and then you get all of that and a little bit more. If it's a house, you see the number of bedrooms. You see if it was wood frame or CPS. So this is something that I will print out sometimes and use it as a hard copy, and I can keep track of notes on it if you want to do that way.
It'll also help you fill out your net sheet because you know now how much they paid. And on here, it shows you how much their taxes are.
So to find out their taxes, you click on tax estimate. You can go to taxes for their parcel. And then I also use this one a lot for the pictures. View this parcel on the map. Let me show that real quick. You do that, it'll pop right up. I'll close this out. I'll close this out and I'll take a screenshot of this, and I'll include this with the listing, because that way you can see the dimensions of the front, the back, the side.
This is only St. Lucie County's website, right?
Yeah, so Martin County is very similar. Yeah, you can access all the same things. Indian River too. We don't have, unless you pay for the Indian River MLS, you don't really get the info on it. Sometimes people will post it. It's on the
Boom.
border of Fort Pierce.
So now you can attach this to the listing under
I keep
pictures.
telling him, I was like, we should buy Heroes because we've done enough deals up there.
Yeah. All right, so let's check out the taxes. Click on the taxes. Now you can look at the PDF or you can look at the online version. If you want to click PDF, it'll download it as the PDF here. And now you can see actually what is mailed to them. Here is the non-ad valorem. If there's any special assessments, it'll be right here as well, special assessments. That's like water bills that are unpaid, switching over from sewer to city water and,
Yeah,
and
so
things
like
that.
some of the ones that are off Becker, they have an additional, it's under a special assessment, but it's to the city water hookup.
Mm.
And it's like a $700 fee that gets paid down every year. It's in little increments, but until that's paid off, it's under there. So it just gets like a part of it gets tagged down on the water bill till it's paid down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So here's last year's taxes, 546.14.
That's so cheap.
That's just for the lot.
I know, but we pay
546.14. So you,
quadruple
so
that
you
for our lot.
plug that in this the spreadsheet. And then the next line is if you are adding in a compliance fee. So it's a transaction fee, I call it. And you can tell the client, the buyer, the seller that it's a transaction fee that our brokerage charges for the transaction, such as cloud storage, just managing the files and things like that. Haven't really had any kickback on that. A few will argue it. So that's money that you can use if you want to hire a transaction coordinator for your paperwork and things like that, so you don't have to worry about it. That's automatically paid for, or you just pocket it.
And that's adjustable.
Yeah,
It's
so
adjustable.
they
So I used to charge $395. Now I'm charging $495. I've
And they
seen
even have
brokerages charge
forms.
$595, and I even saw one recently $999, which is pretty high.
Yeah, so they have
Standard is $395, $495.
in command. There's forms for it, so when they sign their listing agreement, it's in there. Like
Okay.
you add that part of it gets sent along with the agreement.
Okay.
So this whole form, this whole spreadsheet is put together pretty much to be used with our title company, Patch Reef, who's owned by Keller Williams.
Real quick, I want to add something. If you double lend it, you also send it as part of the offer, so then you make that fee twice.
You charge it to the buyer and charge it to the seller.
What happens if the guy I'm gonna be seeing, I think he's got his own title company he's trying to use. But what do you do there?
Charge it.
I still,
Okay.
yeah,
No, I
because
mean,
it's the
yeah,
brokerage.
yeah.
I
Because-
just say this is the brokerage.
Yeah,
That
this is
charges
it's
the
not
fee, it's not
this
the
is
title.
not a title fee. This is a Keller Williams, just any brokerage. EXP charges it.
Yeah,
Berkshire,
EXP
everyone
charges
charges it.
actually $295, but it goes to the brokerage every single time. That never goes away. It comes out of your pocket, like the agent's
That's what
pocket.
EXP charges the agent. Now you as the agent can charge the client whatever you want.
Mhm.
So you can
Gotcha.
charge them double that if you want, and then you still pay that brokerage what the brokerage is requiring you as the agent.
Yeah,
So
we're only obligated
Keller
to pay
Williams doesn't-
$100 out of it.
Keller Williams doesn't.
100.
So out of
Well,
100,
so Keller Williams doesn't require anything at all. So if we do not charge the client this, Keller Williams
yeah,
will take
it
out
takes
zero.
Oh, that's cool.
If we do charge the client, Keller Williams will collect a $100 tech fee that goes to Jupiter.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you're just trying to help somebody out, like say it's a good friend and they need to pocket as much as they can, you don't have to charge them that.
And
Okay.
if somebody falls through on their end of the deal and they like don't use you after signing everything, you still charge them that?
So he's actually going through right now one that the listing agreement was signed, and then the wife is getting her real estate license. So now they want to take their listing back. We have not done pictures yet, but some, agents will require them to pay a fee if they have,
Cancellation fee.
cancellation fee if they had to pay for professional
And this is
photos
separate than the cancellation
or
fee.
do, yeah.
Okay.
So this is,
This is
separate.
only
That makes
charged
sense, though. I would
if the
Mhm.
transaction
put
is
in all the
completed.
work,
Yeah,
And
we
then
haven't taken
then it's
pictures
charged.
yet, so he's.
I've never charged a cancellation fee. If they don't want to do business with me, they don't. But
Gotcha.
if there's gotten to a point where we're, I don't know, legalities and things like that, and then they want to cancel, then yeah, I'm gonna stick them with it because I did
But it's-
buy work up until
But also, we
Cancellation.
haven't, we don't pay for photos because we do it ourselves. So it doesn't cost us money
yeah,
in
but it
pocket.
doesn't
But
matter.
I
There's
know
other
you're
marketing and
one,
time and all that stuff. so.
the guy with the animal heads all over his house, Brian. He
That's a way to remember.
Yeah, no, he's the one to remember because we actually had to use the lawyer for him. He refused to move out of his house. But he actually canceled. Him and his wife went through divorce. He did pay for photos. He did not charge them the cancellation fee, but then months down the
relisted.
road, he did relist with Mark, and
I
then
sold it.
he refused to move out of the house.
So going down this, so again, this is an estimated. Again, urge your clients, this is estimated. This is not the final number because
The
you
title company will have that.
because you do not know what the final selling price will be. You do not know what the closing date will be. So again, this
Gotcha.
is all estimated based on it closing in 60 days from this date. I mean, if it all works out, great. But again, it will be skewed according to prorations and things like that.
Okay.
The taxes will be prorated based on the date it closed and all that. You know, you're putting in your 6%. What if you guys negotiate 5? Well, that'll throw the numbers off too. So
Or what about a flat rate?
flat rate, anything like that.
That's what this
Yeah.
guy. This
So
guy's
flat-
asking that you just give me a flat rate.
So flat rate, you can just, you know, take that out probably, and then just put 5,000 flat rate. Boom. Then I'll put
Cool.
it in there.
Is that normal for people to request flat rates?
Not really. Some will. Wade's going through it now, and it's his first
Yeah.
deal. I've never had a flat rate.
Well, we did.
Yeah,
we
so I'm
didn't.
like,
We didn't have the listing, but we ended up doing some paperwork for somebody that just asked for a flat
Mhm.
rate. They were doing a for sale by owner. They actually reached out to us and they were like, "Hey, we have no idea what we're doing. Can you do our paperwork?" And we charged them a flat rate for it. I was like, "Listen, you're gonna walk yourself through it though."
yeah.
Like we told them we'll do, 3% since they had the buyer and it's all set and done. So we'll make sure that your inspection's done on time, this, that, like, and it all goes smooth. She said, "What is it?" And so we gave her the number. She said, "No, too high." So we told her, "This is the price we're charging you for the paperwork." She said, "Okay, I'll do that." So there's things like that. But I haven't seen any flat rates other than that one.
You'll see it a lot in rentals and stuff like that too.
Yeah, rentals.
So-
Yeah, we've been seeing them as low as like $300 now. And you're like, you're doing all
I've been
this
seeing
work.
some too because I got a lot of. Most of the people that have hit me up lately are wanting to do rentals,
Yeah,
and the rates
good.
are like,
it's a rat
It's
race.
good
though.
experience though.
yeah, I want to practice with it.
Yeah,
So if you're working with a company other than Patch Reef, you can update their charges here, but this is usually what Patch Reef charges. So
Okay.
it's already in there. $395 they charge for closing, $200 for the title search, $150 for the lien search, $25 for the digital platform service, and that's all in this $770 fee.
Okay.
$770. So after their title insurance, and this is all probably new to you, but after all their fees, after they pay the doc stamp and the prorated taxes and the $495, that's what will be the total selling expenses. Take it off the purchase price, and that's what would be in their pocket. So this is a great tool to give any seller. And also, I make sure to include this with all my sellers now because not every person can read a contract, but they can certainly read this. It's pretty easy. So if they say, "No, you only said 5% commission," no, bro, you signed at 6% here. So you have 6% on this sheet. You have 6% on your listing agreement. Boom. There's really no, "Oh, well, you said this." No. This is it. So once you have them filled in, you can click File and Save As. And you save it as a PDF. I can save it to my desktop. All right. So then that goes to your desktop here. There it is. Okay. So now you're done with that. You can save that if you want. You can close it, whatever. I like to save it sometimes so I don't have to refill it back out. So going back to, let's say this is DocuSign or Dotloop. Now you can drag that in there to start adding your documents together to send your client to sign. Okay. So there it is there. So now if you're in DocuSign or Dotloop, you add the seller's signature in there, assign it to them. Boom, you can send it to them. Okay. I'm gonna take that off because I've already done that. So, so that was my pre-listing packet. Next, we'll get into the listing agreement. Okay. So this is actually just what I sent her earlier today, the net sheet, what I just showed you, the listing agreement. If you guys want to use Patch Reef Title, I get this signed ahead of time, and this is a business affiliate form. This just simply states that Patch Reef Title is also owned by Keller Williams.
Okay.
It's just a public disclosure. And pretty much every brokerage has that also owns their title company. It has to be public because they're holding the funds and they usually make interest off the funds, so it has to be publicly disclaimed that they own that title company.
Gotcha.
So here's the listing agreement. Okay, now I get the seller's info again by the property appraiser. Boom. Now, usually, so this is what our attorney said, you should be able to check the deed in the sales tab. This property is so old that it is not recorded. However, the newer ones, you'll see an underlined blue thing there, you know, a link. So you can click on it and actually see the deed. So
Okay.
you can check the deed to see if it matches the property appraiser. Okay. But most of the time it does match. Put the seller's name in there. All listing agreements are the broker's. They're not yours. So you have to write Keller Williams PSL. Okay. Your start date, your end date, I usually shoot for a year. You know, now you'll get property sold within a week, or your client's 45 days.
45 days.
Do 45 days, you shouldn't have a problem. And he'll probably extend too. If you don't, if we're God forbid you don't sell 45 days, he'll probably extend it. The address, legal description, again, legal description. Okay, so legal description, again, is on the property appraiser. Okay. Parcel ID is there as well. Those are the two that usually I like to put in to pre-populate. Any questions so far?
Is that the like the plat? I can't see. from far, but
That's the legal description.
that's
On
like the meat and bounds.
yeah,
part.
that would be actually on a seller contract, not on a listing agreement. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, on the actual contract between the buyer and seller, then you'd put the section, where is it? Here it is, section, township, and range, 11, 37, 39. So again, this is a vacant lot, so it's not currently occupied by a tenant. If it is, you know, if it's a house, then you put when the lease would expire there. Purchase price, terms for lots is usually cash conventional, usually not FHA, VA. For a house, this is something that you want to inspect the house first to see if it would be, if you think it would be approved VA or FHA, and that's usually condition wise. And you know, it'll just come with time. So my first listing ever, it had a hole in the siding, and I clicked, yeah, FHA. Well, now I would be like, that'd be tough. At the time, you know, the inspector for the bank went out, the appraiser, and he says, yeah, you got a hole in the side. It's FHA, you got to get that fixed. So we went ahead and got it fixed, and we closed the deal. But that was my first one ever.
Wood rot is a big one. So like if you see wood rot on the fascia or around the door frames and you have the seller, I would recommend getting at least some patching, like trying to fix it. It opens it up to, you know, have an FHA, but in this market, so many people have cash. So this is like not, you know, if the market was not as hot as it is right now, then you know, those are the minor things that you would just want fixed. He's working on possibly a wholesale one that, you know, tiles missing. There's, so FHA and VA has to have flooring down. If it has the carpet ripped out, it's no. It'll go for conventional, or it'll go for the cash, but FHA and VA will need at least flooring, just overall like a decent condition. So if you start seeing like holes in the walls, rotting on the exterior, just some, like if it has roof leaks, it won't go for either one of those.
Okay.
They're both pretty strict. VA, even down to the electrical box. There's a thing, you'll see it occasionally in older homes, but there's a thing called aluminum wiring. At the time it was a cheaper way to install electrical box, but down the road they realized they cause fires. So I just recently did a VA buyer. They had to have it paid for prior to closing to have the box switched over.
That's like mandated by VA. Now, if
Yeah.
you do conventional cash, you could be like, no, take it.
Yep, and then they just have a higher insurance rate. But the thing is, like, I had to have it paid for and show a paid receipt to the appraiser, because that takes in consideration with it. They did take in consideration that FPL is 4 to 6 weeks out. So this one closed in May. They actually won't have their new box till July 14th. But I had to show like FP&L is 4 to 6 weeks. They did pay for it. Here you go. They accepted it. And we ended up having to go through and fix some wood rot. I had the buyer. The seller was not willing to negotiate and fix anything. So I was like, guys, if you want it, like, you're going to have to pay for the repairs prior to even owning the house.
Right.
So they did.
You guys don't do as is like
It is.
contracts?
All as is.
Yeah, they're all as
99%
is.
of the time.
But in my situation, I actually was doing a for sale by owner. I found for my VA buyer, because in this market, to have a VA
It's tough.
to beat out any other offers is very tough.
Yeah, it's a celebration when you.
Yeah, and so I had to find them a for sale by owner. I actually cut my commission totally just to help them out. They were friends of mine. Otherwise, I would not have done it.
Right.
But they were friends of mine that I've known for 15 years. So I was like, guys, I'll cut it and I will do what I have to do. I actually went over there and fixed the wood rot myself just to help them.
That's cool.
But they did have to pay $2,000 for the new electrical box before they even owned the home.
Yeah, which is sketch, but
Yeah.
it worked out. So
My guy doesn't even want FHA.
Yeah,
He
and that's
he
okay.
only wants cash, or he said cash and conventional last resort. That's what he told me.
That's
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But the house
because
actually looks pretty. Sorry to cut you off. The house actually looks. I
Yeah.
took some pictures. It needs some work on the inside, not like
yeah,
rot
but,
work, but it just looks kind of.
yeah, but the thing is, because they're only accepting conventional or cash,
Usually
they're
what
not
person-
required to fix anything. There's less things that you have to negotiate when you have FHA or
And the
VA.
appraisal is
Like
big
when
one.
and the appraisal has to work out. So like I closed on one last week that it was borderline that it could pass for FHA. The roof ended up coming back in the inspection report that it had a couple leaks. So I went to the seller and like, hey, this is the deal. And she ended up putting a whole new roof on, thank God. But
Wow.
normally that's not what people do in this market.
Yeah,
I just got
yeah.
very lucky. But there was things that I'm like, all right, we might have to walk away from this house because I know it will not pass a loan. I would end up costing my buyer more money if we were to continue on. But luckily it worked out. But the thing is, the seller could have said, you know what? I'm not fixing anything.
Yeah.
And we would lose the
Awesome.
money for inspection, and that's the end of it. And we just have to start searching again. Inspections are about $500-600 right now, so that's still a big
Yeah,
chunk
it's-
of
it's thick on
change.
those things.
Yeah.
All right. So the only terms that I've really ever had to fill in here is cash, conventional, VA, or FHA. Seller financing, get into that if the seller wants to seller financing. I haven't, come on a listing yet with that. Seller expenses, that's usually you don't want to leave any boxes blank, but I've never filled this in either. Seller will pay mortgage discount or other closing costs not to exceed blank percent. Well, you don't know what the deal is going to bring until the deal comes. So that's, one reason that's blank, because sometimes the deal, will ask for seller closing costs or something like that. So I leave that blank. These are all blank because anytime you put a check here, it restricts you putting it on the internet. The only one I check is using a lockbox because you're going to put one on it.
And how does that work? Where do you
If it is a
get that
house.
thing?
You buy it-
Lockboxes, you
you
can
buy
buy
it
it
on
Home
eBay
Depot,
or
but we
eBay
bought
or
a bunch off
Amazon.
online, Amazon and eBay, and they were much cheaper than buying. We bought like a bulk of them.
My first one I bought at Home Depot, and then you could just find Supras. I got Supras on a good deal through an agent selling them in the office
Okay.
But the
And, then,
lock-
and so once you get the
Lock
listing, you put
boxes,
them
I
on
think
there?
we paid,
for $25 something like that.
no, it was less than that per when we bought them in
Yeah.
more of a bulk.
Yeah.
But you just when you get the listing, you put them on. I mean, just
Yeah.
Okay.
And then everything else I leave unchecked because I'm not going to withhold verbal offers. I'm going to let all my sellers know everything, you know. So all that is blank, 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 blank. Here
There's
is where
also-
the fun stuff starts, is your commission. So this is the total commission. I'm putting my $4.95 charge in there as well. Flat rate, you can put right here, Weed.
Okay. So you just so nothing flat rate.
So this
$5,000
is if you're listing it, since you're going to be just doing a commission. If you are listing it, yes, you'd put the flat rate there.
Okay.
If you're just doing a, let's just say the for
I
sale
love
by
that
owner
one on your toes.
says, all right, yeah, bring me a buyer, and
I see
then
you.
I'll pay you X amount of money.
That's
Then-
what it was at first, and then I kind of tried to talk. And I talked.
So
to
then
them.
that's a commission form. Then that's
Okay.
not a listing form. There's a separate one that just states this is the commission you'll receive if you sell a property.
Gotcha.
So that's all you fill out there is the 6 and the 495. I do 180 days on the termination date. So this means that if you're already working with a buyer and you've showed the property and then the listing expires, you have a protection period of 180 days that will protect your commission. If that buyer does end up purchasing the property, you still get a commission. If they do, if you go through the deal and let's just say the deposit is to go to the seller, the broker will receive 50% of that. And then it goes back up on the market, and then you can start the process all over again. But that's what that is for. This shows how that 6% is broken down. Okay, so listings are at a premium right now. So I am currently collecting a little bit more on the listing side for myself because listings are a little bit harder to come by. So for this one, I'm collecting 3.5%. And the buyer's agent is going to be getting paid 2.5%.
That's very common, by the way. We've seen where it's split 4 and 2. There's even one that we saw. It might have been a 5-1 or either that or a very low commission.
I've
if they're
seen
only
some
offering
where
1%
they
to the
will not
buyer.
even offer any commission to the buyer, which doesn't make sense because you're
Still
there
doing
to
the work.
compensate the buyer's agent for their work and to bring the buyer. And if they're not going to compensate the
Yeah.
buyer's agent for any of that, then you're
Yeah.
probably not going to get it sold.
So
Yeah.
C too is like an agent. I mean, when I'm showing homes at 500 grand and the commission I see on one is 3%, which means I'm making about 15 grand on that, and the next one is 2%. I'm only making like 9 grand. So I'm going to show the one and try to sell the one.
With
But
a
I'm
higher
gonna get-
percentage.
yeah.
Right? Absolutely.
Yes,
Now
I'm
that-
going to make sure that at the end of the day that
Fits
they're
for
getting a good home, but at the same time, I'm going to try to push that one, and that's where
Now that doesn't mean that we do not show me
yeah,
personally.
I always show
I
it.
always show every property, even if they give me 1%, 5%, because I want to see my buyers get in a home, especially now that homes are in short supply.
Yeah.
You'll get some sellers that no, I'll only give you 1%. All right, well, I still want to get my client in a home.
Yeah.
I still want to make 1%. That client will refer me to other people and life will go on.
That's
But me personally, I will always show. You'll get agents out there that will not even send any of these listings to their buyers because, oh, wow, I'm only getting 1%
Yep.
or 2% or 2.5%.
his for sale by
ridiculous.
owner for his mom. He actually got a call from an agent and she did not want to show the property, even though her client called him directly. And so he called the agent back and says, your client's interested in this property. No, we're not offering commission, but if you want, I can help them. She's like, nope, I'll find them a different home because there was no commission offered. I did the for sale by owner, finding my client that for sale by owner, and she's referred business back to me.
Right. It pays
So
off.
yeah, that's
Totally
at the end of
pays
the
off.
day, my hard work on that one got me referrals.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I'm sure this question will come up again because it always does, even when I did it. So when you split it up on the MLS, you're usually giving a commission to a single agent, which is almost non-existent in that's total fiduciary duties to the buyer. We represent ourselves as a transaction broker. We represent the transaction. Yes, we have some fiduciary duties to our client, but
Limited.
our allegiance is to the transaction. So we are transaction brokers. Okay. And then this is for a broker with no brokerage relationship, such as a family member or something like that. No, we're not giving them commission. They don't even have a real estate license. Okay.
Yep.
So 0, 3, 2.5, whatever you want, but that's how it's broken up usually. Conditional termination, if they, you do terminate, there's also a termination fee written in here. I forget where exactly. If they cancel, there's fees associated with that. This is an additional $4.95. So I've never had someone cancel on me. If they argue it, then I'll say, yeah, I've got time, I've got marketing costs involved, photography, so that's the fee to cancel. Dispute resolution, some initials for that, and then any additional terms. So here, I already have this written down in my Evernote. I subscribe to Evernote, so this is all my additional notes and doohickeys and everything that I need. And this is what I was telling Jamie. I've got a running Rolodex of all of my people that I need help with. AC, advertising, appliances, appraisers, so I've done deals with all these people, most of these people. Like this guy, let's say he did the appraisal on 317 Crosspoint. This guy did the appraisal on Alito. If I ever need an appraiser, I've got these guys to call that I've done business with before.
That's good.
Architects, auctions, babysitters. I've ran into clients that need a babysitter while I'm showing properties. You name it. Okay.
I know.
All-
It's so many things.
Lenders.
I know.
Especially if you have an inspection report and you're like, okay, well, we need, this getting checked out. The AC might need to get checked out. Like, all right, let me get some quotes from AC guys. No,
Inspectors here.
instead of having to Google it every single
Boom.
time, start a tab like this. And then too,
Okay.
who you trust and who's been there. Because I ran into a survey company that I will never use again. And I know, take them off our list.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
So going back to title insurance on the net sheet, this is a handy dandy little card that Patrick Title will give to you, and you can put it in your briefcase. So if this is regarding title, whoever is paying for title is paying for title insurance. Okay. So let's just say it's a $300,000 property. Whoever is paying for title on the contract is going to pay $1,575. Okay, so this is where you'll see who's paying for title. Whoever pays for title gets to choose the title company. All right,
Gotcha.
and they're also charged the title insurance premium.
You want to make sure that they're using the good one. 'Cause we
Yes,
ran into
make
some
sure
bad
you-
ones.
Like if they're paying for title, ask them. All right, well, who's closing it? Is it Joe Schmo in India? Is it your mom and dad out of their home? Do they have a lawyer? A lot of title companies do not have lawyers.
Right.
We do, and I in fact just emailed her on the listing I'm working on now, because it was someone the mother died, so I wanted to make sure who's authorized to sign. So I sent it to our lawyer Patrice to have her review it even before I get them under contract, because I don't want to get them under contract and then have to go through legality issues. Now we've got two parties involved. So
Yeah, that, and then he actually just ran into an issue where the title company shorted him on his money, on his commission. So it's
this
our
is with another
brokerage.
title company.
Yeah, our brokerage is now fighting to get his, $1,500 in his commission. And then I dealt with the title company last week that forgot to order a survey and would have pushed closing out. And I found on a Friday, and we're closing Monday, that there was no survey done.
Good title companies.
So,
not
and then they had an
necessarily-
attitude
So-
with me, and it
Right,
was,
tough talk.
yeah, but it's at the end of the day, we love to use Patrick.
Yeah.
If you can get your client, which if they're a buyer, try to get them to use or pay for title to use Patrick, because
Okay.
Yeah.
they've been
Because
on
you
it.
control the transaction. If you
Yes.
control who does the title work,
And then
you have
things
better
are
control on the
on
transaction
time. Yeah.
Just better overall for the future and everything.
for the
Yeah.
transaction. Yeah.
For the yep.
So these are common things that I've come up on my listing contracts. So hey, I write it down. So for instance, this one I copied it and I pasted it on my contract. Keller Williams will collect an additional $395. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Another one. So if you're not listing that home immediately, you have to have it written there when you're going to be listing it on the MLS. Okay, so let's just say they want 2 weeks before they list. Make sure you write it in here. That's compliance. So if somebody comes to you and says, and you say, yeah, I have the listing agreement. Well, they say, well, it's not in the MLS. It's right here that the seller doesn't want to list till 2 weeks. That way you don't get.
Isn't there another form filled to with that?
We're usually told to put it right there in
Okay, I know
the
you
additional
can't.
terms.
So now a lot of people are cracking down too when you're listing. If say you're listing on like a Thursday, but they don't want to do any showings till their open house over the weekend, you're gonna probably get a phone call to take your listing down, because you can't show it. That means it's not active. So then you'd have to put it up Friday night for your open house on the weekend.
We gotta get you about 15 minutes.
So,
All right, so kind of going through this a little quicker. If you're going to be giving them a discount, if you bring the buyer, some like I give some clients a discount if I also have the buyer. So I'll give them a 5% commission instead of 6. You put that in the notes, stuff like that. So seller signatures, your signature. Once you get everything returned and everybody's signed, make sure you check when you're returning a copy to the seller. You have to give them a copy when you're all done, whether it be email, fax, personal delivery, whatnot. Put the date in there. Okay. So that's 2 pieces, the combined affiliate. And then lastly will be the seller's disclosure. I like to have them fill out. Seller's disclosure is basically what the seller knows about the property. It's a yes or no. Or on the houses, it's I don't know. Yes, no, I don't know. And it's just going through the surveys, environmental, utilities, some signatures. So when a buyer's agent asks for it, you already have it filled out. You don't have to send it to them,
and the key
later
thing
to
is
fill out. You
They're
already
not
have it.
required to fill it out. They don't have to, but it's just an extra thing that you can add
Certainly
on the MLS
helps.
that can help answer some questions and alleviate.
And if you have
phone
any
calls.
questions, there is the seller checklist that we have, and it goes through what you need.
Okay.
So if you have an HOA, you provide an HOA doc, condo doc. If it's built before 1977, it's now lead-based paint law. You attach addendum P, which is the lead-based paint disclosure. Highly recommend, again, the seller's net sheet, patch reef title, business affiliate, which we went over.
I know exactly. I just want to say this real quick. See, this is great, but I'm a little scared because I'm supposed to come back to him on Wednesday, like follow up and like.
Well, yeah, that's why
I just feel like
that's why we'll go over it and
Yeah.
have
Okay.
you automatically what you need to
Okay.
sign.
it's just so much. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
All you
and I don't
need.
want to mess
is-
him up. I don't want to
Look, guys.
get him screwed. Or anything.
Basically, I'm going
Yeah.
through everything you need, but the only thing you need is the listing agreement.
That's the
Once
only
you get
thing
your
have to
listing
get back
agreement
to them.
signed, you can now go to work. Okay. All
Okay.
this additional stuff is additional. But again, the minimum 2 is the net sheet, so they know what they're getting in their pocket, and the listing, so you can get to work. Everything else you can get signed later.
Okay, so tonight I'm going to study that listing agreement.
Net sheet
Yeah.
And the net
listing. Net sheet listing.
Something he told me, which you'll have to at least do one, but
Mhm.
like when I was writing offers on properties, I was actually pulling up, an offer from another property and like going line by line, okay, what's filled out, what's this, what's that, and